This is interesting because I have a fun tier list too. I want to see how it tracks to mine. Most fun for both sides. Does resilience unhook speed stack with decimal measures? Yes, it does. Which also stacks with no one left behind for like 160% unhook speed. It's hilarious.
On my Discord who your favorite character was to both play and face, who you find the most fun. For each side I got a percentage of likes to play and a percentage of don't like to play. Today I wanted to combine these to try and figure out which character is favoured for both sides. Let's get into it. Skull Merchant, 20.8%. Unsurprisingly, she comes in the lowest here. Merchant has such a questionable and unclear design that is honestly hard to have fun. Even with her most recent rework, she just feels quite empty and dull now to me. Although not reliant on 3 gens, she feels lacking, a bit like someone like Freddy. Not
so
for
this
me,
is exactly for the record. I tried to make a fun tier list for both sides recently, where I do exactly this, to play as and play against, and then I sort of smush them together and average them for their overall fun to the game. So this is cool that he actually has like straight up data rather than just like feelings.
That seems to be the general consensus.
The fact that 1 in 4 people enjoy playing her is insane.
There is still a portion of people that like to play her, and an even smaller that like to face her. Trickster, 28.6%. This is another placement I understand, and
what is this a percentage of? I'm guessing it's the amount of people. It was a yes or no poll, like fun to play or not fun to play, and then you average them out, I guess.
I barely see Trickster nowadays. His power is fairly simplistic and repetitive. It ends up not being fun for either side, I think, as it's often just very random how effective it is. It's a messy power, and that inconsistency doesn't feel good, I think. Clown, 30.2%. Clown is probably my least favorite overall in terms of fun for both sides. I find him to be very lacking in terms of fun. Being slowed down in games is never fun, really, and doing the slowing down just feels unrewarding, I find. Freddy, 34.8%. Freddy nowadays is...
I like how that's almost exactly the same to play as and to play against. It's just like,
dull all round. He has nothing really going for him with his power, and nothing overly engaging with his primary ability that makes survivors go slightly slower on loops. His fake palettes offer a unique type of gameplay, but they're also pretty bad. Freddy is just so and for me, playing as him at least, I only get some fun from the challenge he has from being fairly weak. Hag, 35.7%. Hag is one of the lowest played characters, and I do understand why. She's strong, but a lot of the time just very boring, with her power encouraging you to camp.
I'm surprised her to play is not more fun, because there's like 3 people that play Hag and they all love Hag.
Hold down an area. It's just not a very engaging power. I can have occasional fun playing as her, but I often just find myself somewhat stressed, with her power requiring you to upkeep your web of traps very efficiently. Facing her can just feel too punishing sometimes, with the jump scares and instant downs becoming repetitive. Nurse, 38.2%. Nurse is rated fairly low, and I kind of get it. She's very strong and so is often relatively boring, with her gameplay barely changing throughout the years. As a nurse,
I'm so surprised that Nurse is below the Knight in terms of this is a fun list, right? I'm so surprised that Nurse is below Blight, or not Blight, maybe Blight, but Knight.
Can feel a bit too easy, and facing one is either you get steamrolled or the nurse is new and you steamroll them. Matches against her particularly are rarely fun, I find. Spirit, 42.6%.
How is Spirit to play not like 100%? Spirit is fun as shit to play. She sucks to go against, but is less problematic now, at least because it's directional. Really? 50%? I fucking love playing Spirit. It's so fun.
Spirit is rated fairly low here. I've always found her incredibly boring, to be honest, with her power feeling unrewarding to do well with due to its lack of counters, and facing her for the same reason
counterplay now.
Just feels very unengaging.
I would say this about old Spirit.
There's nothing you can do a lot of the time to avoid an attack. Knight, 46.7%. Knight, I think, is in this weird kind of in-between space where he's just fine and unique enough that most people can tolerate both playing and facing him. But
how old is this video? I don't know. That's a good question. It's got Skull Merchant in it, so it's probably pretty new. Oh, it's 2 days old.
Stands out.
How do people like to play Knight as much as Spirit? I don't know. Knight can... I guess there is a subset of people who try to micromanage things and don't just drop a guard and chase. Like they'll be chasing someone and then they'll drop a guard to kick a gen over here. And they probably like the micromanaging style, I guess. That's what I'm thinking.
As fun, really. Personally, when I
This is
play
AZHYMOVS,
Knight or Face
actually.
Knight, I just feel very neutral about the game as a whole, and usually I get my fun from those games from the perks I run over interactions with the other side. Cenobite, 48.5%. Pinhead is a
60% to play, really? That's insane to me. So people, according to his Discord, enjoy playing Pinhead more than they enjoy playing Spirit. Dude, Pinhead is so unsatisfying to me. You hit the sickest, nasty trick shot, and then all the chains break on a wall, and you're like, oh, fuck, okay.
character I didn't expect to see so low. I honestly find him pretty fun to play, as he offers a rather unique playstyle. I also feel somewhat similar when facing him because, again, it's a different kind of game you get into when facing a Pinhead. I do understand that the chains can be frustrating though when facing him, and his technical aspects when playing as him can also make him pretty frustrating. Trapper, 53.5%. We're finally into the one.
Really? 70% basically say they enjoy going against Trapper. I get playing as him sucks. How the fuck is 70% enjoying going against Trapper? I need to know the demographics of the people that he's polling. Because I know, like, even people that are super killer-sided hate going against Trapper. Like, I don't know of anybody that actually enjoys going against Trapper. In fact, I would say playing as Trapper is more fun than playing against him, because setting up a web of traps can be satisfying sometimes. But playing against him is you just step in a trap you can't see that's in grass, and your chase is instantly over, or he has nothing. And that's basically it. There's very binary gameplay. There's no in-between there. Yeah, I'm paranoid every time I play against Trapper too. Even into the next game. I could be going against a Wraith and I'm still looking at my feet.
People like
it's
more...
the bully factor. It might actually be. It might actually be that he's so easy to beat that people consider just beating him to be fun, not accounting for the fact that the chases are extremely boring, whether it's one way or the other.
Than they dislike. Trapper got a very...
Prediction for the most fun killer? I'm going to say Hillbilly. Well, no, Hillbilly is going to be probably lower to play as. To play against, it's going to be super high. Huntress is going to be very high. It's fun to play as and against. Wesker is going to be pretty high. I'd say probably Huntress or Wesker.
Low rating for people that like to play as him, and I think it largely comes down to him just being so weak and just instantly at a disadvantage. It's not very fun to be there every game. Facing him got a relatively okay rating, and I pretty much agree. Whilst playing a largely M1 focused character can be pretty fun, I do think his traps can often feel annoying and a bit too sudden a lot of the time, which can make it unfun. So a balance. Twins, 55%. Twins seem pretty middle of the road, which I agree with overall.
You know, nowadays, because twins are so rare, I actually kind of agree with this. I don't know if it's a hot take, because I see twins one in every 600 games. I actually don't really hate the twins anymore. Like, it's almost like, oh my god, it's a unicorn. It's a rabid little baby unicorn, but it's so rare that, like, I don't get annoyed by twins anymore because I so rarely see them. It's almost like a treat, even if the gameplay itself is not exciting and Victor is very not cool to go against. It's so rare that I don't really care anymore.
For me, they are just unique.
Also, kicking Victor is
interesting
hilarious.
enough that
That is
they
true.
can be fun, but equally they have so much about them that is clunky or poorly designed that it makes that uniqueness often fizzle out and become quite annoying or boring quickly. Plague, 58.7%. Plague is a character who seems quite favored to play, but people really don't like facing her.
I don't really mind playing against Plague. Even in solo queue, I don't mind it that much. I don't know. I think Plague is, like, overall, like, pretty cool design. You can tell when she's going to be in her giga power. There's not anything super oppressive she can do. If she has, like, a fountain near someone on a hook, she can basically guarantee a hook stage, which sucks, but... Emotophobia people? Yeah, okay. I can get that. Majority of survivors suck, so they hate being unable to heal. That's another perspective that is possible too, yeah. If she 3-gen, she's kind of Skull Merchant light. I mean, if any killer 3-gens, they're Skull Merchant light. Any killer can 3-gen with the right perks. I don't know. I actually don't mind
It's
playing.
probably because of the whole
I love
always
playing as
being
Plague too.
injured thing, which I do understand. It's definitely different and can be intimidating. I do think playing her is fun, and she's one of those characters where, because games can play so differently each time, she is lots of fun to learn, with needing to adapt to situations quickly. Doctor, 59.4%. Doctor is a character that seems quite favoured to play as, likely because the shocks and more regular gameplay can feel consistent with the right amount of difficulty.
How's Doctor fun to play? I understand to face he's boring, but why is he fun to play? Doctor's entire gameplay is shock, get a bit closer, shock, get a bit closer, shock, get a bit closer, free hit. Next tile, shock, get a bit closer, shock, get a bit closer, get a hit. You down them, now you scream, or now you do your blast. Repeat for the entire game. Yeah, I guess until made for this is the thing. Now you just shock and nothing happens. Shock and nothing happens.
Facing him, I think people don't like purely because it can be annoying with how madness works at times. The constant screams, skill checks, and so on. Bubba, 59.7%. Bubba is a character.
How is Bubba less fun to play than Doctor by a wide margin? Bubba's so fun to play. What the fuck? I love Bubba. I don't know why. His chainsaw, like, you smack double chilling on a chainsaw, that shit is so fun. I don't get that, man. Most people don't like Basement Bubba. So don't fucking play Basement Bubba? I'm not talking about to face. I'm talking about to play as. I'm talking about playing as right now. Are you saying the Bubbas are not having fun because they're face camping the thing that they're choosing to do? Dude, Bubba is super fun. I love playing as Bubba. I will never not have fun playing as that killer. Unless it's like Larry's or something.
Character I personally find much more fun to face than I do to play, but here he's ranked pretty equally for both sides. I think it's really just dependent on how the Bubba plays. Playing as him, I do think you need to somewhat make your own fun, and the same goes for facing him, as his actual power isn't that complex. Billy, 63.6%. Billy is maybe one of the clearest cases where people...
the fact that Billy's 86 to go against is no one's surprise. You know what? I think this is actually pretty fair. I think if you're extremely good at Curve Billy, he's like a 10 out of 10 to play. But most people are not, and so they just get frustrated and fucking hate it. So that percent makes perfect sense. But going against him is fun basically for everybody. Whether they're good or bad, it's still interesting. It's still a good time. So this, I think, is the first one that is like, it perfectly fits.
Very much enjoy facing him, but really do not like playing him. I'm kind of in the same boat here, as I find him just way too punishing to play, particularly with the current day maps. However, facing one is often a good time, particularly if the player is decent. Artist, 67.2%. Artist is a character in a bit of a...
I'm so surprised Artist is not like 15 spots lower than this. Artist fucking sucks to go against. She's so boring to go against. Now, I will say playing as her, I think is actually really fun. I actually think playing as Artist, especially if you go for map wides and like through the wall shots and stuff like that, the whole shotgun playstyle where you tag him with one and then do a triple burst through a wall, I think that's pretty fun. But playing against her being 67%? What are these numbers from? He polled his Discord. And people just voted, do you think it's fun or not? And then I think he just averaged it out. But going against Artist fucking sucks. There's zero fun component to going against Artist. That's so surprising to me.
Strange spot here. She's quite strong, but equally I do think she has fair counterplay for the survivor side. Playing as her can mechanically be tricky too, which personally makes her a little more fun for me. This placement largely depends on how you play, I think. I do think a lot of artists out there mainly use her power for close anti-loop, which is fair enough, but can be a little less fun. Wraith, 67.2% also. Wraith is a pretty middle-of-the-road character for me, and embodies the closest I can think of default Dead by Daylight gameplay.
I think that's fair. I actually think this is pretty fair. I love playing as Wraith, so being high there is pretty solid, but I do get how people hate going against hit-and-run Wraiths, which a lot of them do. Sloppy Butcher, and then they just hit you and never chase you, so I can see how Wraith can be boring to go against if they're not Giga Chads and chase. So I think that's actually pretty fair.
I find a Wraith game particularly thrilling on either side, but it's always just fine, I find. I do definitely agree he is more fun to play than he is to face. He gets the benefit of some cool add-ons and lots of speed when cloaked, which can be fun. Legion, 68.6%. Legion is a character I thought
oh my god, dude, I have been ranting about Legion being fun to play for, what, 5 years now? I don't understand why people find Legion fun to play. I don't get it. Obviously I'm in the minority here, but I don't get it. It's so fucking boring. It's just you run slightly faster and you get a free injure on someone, and that's it. That's his whole power. But I guess people are very simple-minded and they just go, I go fast, stab, XD, and that's pretty much all they need. So I know I'm in the minority here. I know people like playing as Legion. He's a very popular killer, and I don't get it. He's so boring to me. Also, what is going on with this connection?
Lower, but I guess lots of people like them. I personally find their speed when I use them lots of fun, and being able to traverse maps differently too. I also like when facing them that you can do more plays around windows and using their ability to fast vault against them. Moving behind them and using line of sight techs is fun. Huntress, 69%. Huntress is a character I thought would be higher, to be honest.
Same,
Maybe there's some more boredom coming from her power nowadays after we've had it for so long. With that said, it's still quite clearly liked a lot. Huntress is the simplest ranged character, but is one that was done well and is very balanced when it comes to her gameplay, which I think often translates to fun. Sadako, 69.4%.
Sadako is higher than fucking Huntress? Takichi, thank you for the 500, man. What the fuck? How is Sadako more fun to play than a Huntress? Sadako's gameplay is you just press control at TVs until someone dies. Or if the team is really smart and they all grab tapes, you press control at the one lit up TV and you lose. That's just it. It's just her gameplay is so nothing, man. It's so boring.
Sadako, I think, has probably dropped a bit in fun since her rework, especially to face her. She's become much more frustrating to face, I would say, particularly with some of the condemn builds available. Playing as her is more fun than before, I would say, and personally I do enjoy it quite a bit. Maya's 71%. Maya's as a character has always been pretty loved because his gameplay is quite different.
I'm actually gonna agree with it to play. I think Myers is pretty fun to play. And if you have newer players, they might like the whole idea of getting jump scared by Michael Myers, especially with Scratch Mirror on Larry, stuff like that. That's fun for new players, stuff like that too. Playing as him, I think, is fun. Playing against Myers, I fucking hate. I hate every single Myers build that you can possibly do. Scratch Mirror, you will never get down by Myers. You get hit, you camp at a pallet until someone comes and heals you. You will never go down. And eventually he gets Noed at the end of the game and then camps someone to death. Every fucking time. At least against good players or whatever. It's incredibly boring to go against the Myers. Every build is not fun. Scratch Mirrors, they can't do anything. Tombstone, you're out of the game instantly because it's someone else's fault. Basically, all of his add-ons, you're out of the game because it's someone else's fault. It's not fun being on a generator, having him walk up on you, and you have 1 second to react to him popping tier 3 on you, and you instantly go down because he farmed off someone else again. It's just, I don't know. I find Myers miserable to go against. Even though he's not very good, the act of getting tier 3'd on is never fun. I even feel bad playing as Myers. Like when I have 99 tier 3 and I see a guy for the first time this game and I'm just like, hype. Just like, I hope you enjoyed that chase. It's just, I don't know. It just seems very, very not interesting to me. But I think the reason this is high is because people are overall not having 80 billion hours in the game and they're like, oh my god, Michael Myers from the movie. And that's basically as far as they think, which is fine. I'm jealous, honestly.
How he stalks and builds up to tier 3, which I do think is pretty fun for both sides, although for different reasons to more regular Dead by Daylight gameplay. Myers also gets some bonus points too, I think, for the different add-ons and subsequent playstyles he can have, which can mix things up and make things fun.
I feel like he should lose points because of the Tombstone. I'm surprised Pig is so high to face.
22.6%. Pig is a character that has consistently been memed for her constant nerfs and lack of strength, but has always been pretty liked by the community on both sides. I actually expected her playside would be considered more fun, but I think the overall numbers are pretty much in line with how I find her.
I mostly agree with this. I think to face is a bit lower, honestly. Well, I think it depends on the kind of pig that you're going against. If you get a heckin' wholesome, Snoot Booperino, then it's like, honestly, pretty 100%. Then it's actually pretty fun because he still has dashing at loops and stuff like that. And that can be fun. And it's overall not a bad time. If you get, a Fear of the Darkness, Ultimate Escape, or Ultimate Weapon, double crated gears, that kind of pig, this shit drops down to a 0 real fast. So it really depends on what kind of pig you're going against.
She has enjoyable elements like her ambush and stealth, but things like the bear traps can be frustrating at times for both sides, but equally tense and engaging at others. Xenomorph 73.4%. Xeno is interesting with it being one of...
My brain saw 89% to face first, and I actually died a little bit. I think this might be because he's newer. Playing as Xenomorph is pretty fun. I will very much agree with that. He's a pretty fun killer to play. This being a lot lower is also pretty fair, too, because it's not really fun to go against him at all. At least it's a bit more punishing now if he misses, but you're still basically at the same 50-50 at a loop, and it's not exciting gameplay at all. But playing as him is very fun. I enjoyed my time playing as him. The tunnel system is really cool. The turrets they don't do anything, so I guess that's why it's fun, because they don't do anything. But yeah, going against them is appropriately pretty low.
Of the newer characters, these stats really encapsulate the general community feeling I get from Xeno currently, that it's super fun to play, but it can be very annoying to face, with its tails sometimes feeling unfair and hard to dodge or know when to move. I get why people don't enjoy facing it. Deathslinger 75.9%.
What the fuck? How is Deathslinger in like the top 6 or 7? What the fuck? No shot. No, actually many shots because Deathslinger. What the fuck? This is a take my headset off one. There's no way this poll was answered by veteran players. Well, I mean, no one ever said it was. That is mind-blowing to me. What the fuck? I will say, if you're good at Deathslinger, playing as Deathslinger can be kind of fun. Especially if you know, like, which holes you can shoot through and stuff like that. That is actually very satisfying. But to face 75%? What the fuck? Yeah, no, playing as Deathslinger can be fun. And I guess I'm not arguing with the 76 here. I'm saying the 75% to face is like, what the hell? Juking an ass Deathslinger is fun? Well, then Nurse is fun by that same logic. Blight's fun by that logic. If the killer is shit, it's always fun to go against them. You can't make a poll based on the fact if they don't even know how to play the game. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I hate going against Deathslinger. Although he's a little less annoying ever since they nerfed the ADS thing, but it's still, oh my god.
Slinger is actually a character I was pretty surprised to see so high.
Yeah.
I remember just a few years ago he was really hated, particularly to face. I think as time has gone on though, he's grown on many people. Nowadays I think he has a very fair power, with enough counterplay to face, and enough to learn to outplay the survivors. It's just fun, and partly because the literal power of a spear gun that reels you in is just a cool concept. Ghostface 77.8%. Ghostface is pretty widely loved, and I think it's because he's probably the stealthiest stealth character. This makes his gameplay feel very unique and often very tense. The way he moves, crouching and leaning, makes the game a lot more interesting for both sides, and provides lots of fun moments to be had.
I think Ghostface is pretty fun. I don't have too much of a problem with Ghostface. It's just the reveal mechanic. If the reveal mechanic wasn't incredibly fucked, I think he would actually be a super fun killer. Because basically, he takes the annoyance of Myers, where teammates can result in you dying, and puts it all on you. So that major pain in the ass of Myers goes away, and that's good. That makes him more fun to go against. But the reveal mechanic is so broken that it's annoying on both sides. I've been, behind a wall and get revealed, and I've been looking directly at him, and he doesn't get revealed, and then he stalks me and one-shots me, and I'm just like, what? So it shouldn't be that sometimes the best play when he starts stalking you is to sprint directly into the killer. That's never really a sign that something is designed well. But if the reveal works, then I think I would agree with this. It just never works properly.
Singularity 78.9%. Hux is relatively new and doesn't seem too popular in
I agree
terms
with
of
this,
people
actually.
playing as him, but despite that, he does seem to be viewed as fun. Hux has a very unique power, and I do like how it combines a stealthier and trap-based style with a chase focus. It's a cool combination.
Honestly, I would switch these two. He's not super fun to go against. He's not that bad to go against. They're way worse killers to go against, but I think he's really, really fun to play, and he's like kind of okay to go against.
Of the two usual sides.
Why don't we see them often? Because he's hard. He's a hard killer to play.
Of powers. I think playing as him definitely is less fun, as it's often very tense and requires a lot of drive to play him, with there just being so many punishing elements against him like the EMPs. I like this placement though. Blight, 78.9%.
I agree with this.
Blight is a character I think people enjoy because it's such fast-paced gameplay for both sides. You need to be effective at loops on both sides with a Blight.
I don't know how Blight is not 100% the play. I mean, let's be real. Who does not like playing as Blight? He is very, very fun to play. Even with no add-ons, he's fun to play. Blight, I feel like Blight should be the highest to-play percentage of the entire thing. Console players, I guess it's harder to play. But Blight is super fun to play.
Light in the game. You need to know the tiles, and it becomes much more focused on your knowledge and looping ability than it does on a character's
bump
inability
logic being
to
ass on
down
maps.
someone
I get
before
that.
gens get done, which I think is more fun. Executioner, 79.5%. Executioner is a character which I think is just very balanced. He does have
I agree,
strong
he's
attacks
balanced,
and
but how the fuck is he fun to go against? This is not a regular tier list, this is a fun tier list. How the fuck is he like... How is he higher than Blight? Yeah, I would agree on a balanced tier list, this is about where he should be. Bro, what the fuck? He's just guaranteed zoning, gigatunneler, proxy camp extraordinaire. What fun thing is there about him, actually? How is he not like one of the lowest to face? I don't...
but these are often signaled well for the other side, so although they are strong abilities...
Dude, thank God it's signaled well that when you're unhooking someone and he's sitting there, he waits to double hit you guys. Thank God I can tell he's holding that. Because now it's fine.
There's also enough for the survivors to do something about it too. Overall, he feels balanced, and that's why I think
yeah,
he's perceived
I'm
as
agreeing,
fun.
Steve. I'm guessing this is mostly just a newer player poll. But even newer players, it's gotta suck getting tunneled by him. I kind of agree with Dredge being here. I think Dredge is not super fun to go against, but I'm okay with this. He's harmless. Dredge is pretty harmless.
29.9%. Dredge gets a high placement here, and I think it's down to it being actually very atmospheric and pretty scary a lot of the time to face, and feeling scary when you play it, going around as this abomination. The Nightfall mechanic is a lot of fun and changes the flow of gameplay a lot of the time, and interaction around lockers also becomes a lot more
He's horrible for new
engaging.
players. That's another weird thing too. I thought this is a poll of mostly like newer players, but new players don't like going against Dredge because they think the Nightfall mechanic is super OP. So now I don't know what to think.
When Dredge is in the game. Oni, 82.1%. Oni is higher than I expected him to be. I do find him enjoyable to
Fuck
play.
that. Oni deserves to be high. I like Oni. If this is a correct placement of Oni. Oni's awesome.
With his speed and insta-down potential, I also find him pretty fun to face, with only some occasions where the hits can feel a little unfair. Largely he's fun, I guess, unless you happen to be running no mither. Nemesis, 82.8%. Nemesis
That is surprising. I am surprised that this Nemesis to face is fucking 80%. I think playing as Nemesis is pretty fun. I think the tentacles are actually pretty satisfying to hit. So, I'm not even going to argue with that. But to face 80%? He's really fun to go against? Why? Why is he fun to go against? I think he's fun to play. I definitely agree with that. Why is he fun to go against, though? His chase power is fun to counter? Yeah, but a good Nemesis, you're not going to... I need to stop thinking in terms of good players. Okay, I need to, stop thinking like that. Because going against a good Nemesis is miserable. You are going to basically get hit at every single tile no matter what you're at. But I guess if they're not good, then it can be fun. Thank you. It's appreciate that. Yeah, even without that, how did people not complain about the zombies?
Character I'm a little surprised to see so high too.
Agreed.
Personally, I had a long streak of not liking facing or playing him, to be honest, but he's grown on me a lot. My only complaint really for Nemi is the tentacle can sometimes feel a little unavoidable when facing him, but often this can be worked around with mind games on both sides, which is nice. And again, fun. Wesker, 83.7%. Wesker is a great example of a character who is strong, but also fun for both sides.
No arguments here.
I think in this case too, part of what makes Wesker fun is the immersion and the quips he makes, paired alongside his fun and chase-focused gameplay. You can make interesting plays as him, but you can also counter him fairly too, with his well-signaled power. Demogorgon, 93.1%. Demo being the highest doesn't surprise me all too much.
Really? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Demo, but how the fuck is he more fun than Wesker? He's basically just Wesker, but more annoying zoning. That's so surprising to me. Why am I surprised? Because Demogorgon is not that fun to go against. I actually really like playing as Demo, so I agree with the 2 play. That's completely fine. But going against Demo, it's kind of free zoning. Whereas Wesker, if he's holding his tentacle, he's drastically slowed down. Demo doesn't get slowed. So it's basically just kind of free zoning. I don't know, man. I would put Wesker above Demo. I would rate Demo pretty highly, don't get me wrong, but I would definitely swap these at the very least. Scott, I only like 5 killers, John. I mean, yeah, half the killers in the game are pretty boring. But half of them are, honestly, you know, decent to fun. That being said, I don't mind going against Demogorgon. I'm never going to complain getting one, but to find him that high, almost everyone agrees he's fun to face, is kind of crazy.
And I do think there's a bit of bias here with nostalgia and the now removed state of Demo playing a part. With that said, I do think Demo is very balanced, and so ultimately many find it very fun on both sides, which is completely fair. Alright, well that's gonna do it. Let me know your thoughts too, down below.
That was crazy. There was a lot of placements there that were not even remotely where I thought that they would be. But, God, Demo higher than Wesker. It's crazy to me.